And
I've been asked today to do the thanking messages, but I need to give you a message.
mooi.
It takes a man to stand up against violence,
Oh,
not a man to commit violence. Because a man that lifts his hands is nothing more than a coward. And I'm saying it out there today, loud and clear. Any person who turns to violence as a solution is a coward. And what we are saying as citizens of George today is enough is enough. I will walk in front of any march that stands against violence. Whether it be against a man, a woman, a child. I've learned a lot today. And right in the beginning, and I'm going to take you back to the first speaker, he said, every single human being is made up of three parts.
ja.
The spirit, the soul, and the body. I have a motto that says, I may be bent, but this life will not break me. "14 years ago, I became disabled, and I found the wrath of humanity. Because from going from a physically able-bodied person, I became a monster. People started to think that my brain sat in my arm. They started mocking me. And sadly, I started mocking myself. And I realized very quickly that having gone from somebody who spent 6 days a week in the gym, I now suddenly was unable to do any physical exercise. However, I soon put that behind me, and like another previous speaker said, that day is entrenched in me like my birthday, the 1st of April, 2008. 300ths of a second, my life changed. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to ask yourself, what does that have to do with gender-based violence? The fact remains is that any significant thing in a person's life changes that life immediately. And the reason why I'm saying that is 300ths of a second is all it takes. And you go from being somebody who is caring, loving, to somebody who has no self-respect for themselves. Because automatically, the first thing you do is you blame yourself. But it's not you. I'm sad to say it's society. And in order to get rid of gender-based violence, we have to look at the root, not the symptoms. And I'm sad to say, my opinion, and bearing in mind this is my opinion, if we look at the increase in domestic violence, there's one or two common denominators: alcohol and drugs.
Is waar.
If we address substance abuse, I'm not saying we are going to get rid of all the problems, but we will address a large number of those problems. Because if you do not have control over your mind, you have no control over your body. And once you have any form of mind-bending substances in your brain, you forget that you are actually a human being and you become a savage. I'm sorry. Those of you that know me will tell you straight, ek daai nie toekies om nie. Ek sê dinge soos hy is. And gender-based violence is not a 16 days of activism. It's a 365 days mission we have to be on. It has to be a project which is taken on every single day of our lives. Because unless we stand up, and I've had people say to me, but what can I do? I'm one single person. But you know what? Once again, I'm going to say that to you. That no matter whether you're one person or 100, right stays right, and wrong will never become right.
Yes, it's true. It's waar.
And that is why I live my life irrespective. My wife says I suffer from OCD, and yes I do. Want my lewe bestaan uit reg of verkeerd.
Mooi.
There is no grey in my area. And when people accuse me of being too harsh, the first thing I say to them, where's your respect? Where's your discipline?
Yes.
Because if you don't have discipline in yourself, how are you ever going to instill discipline in your children?
Yes.
In your society?
Mooi.
When wrong becomes right, society goes down the tubes. And I'm sorry, I didn't want to give you a sermon this morning, but you know what? I believe it's time, as the advocate said.
Kom Raadslid, kom.
Those that can talk, stand up.
Yes.
Those that are willing to get up, get up.
Mooi.
But if you sit down and you do nothing, you are part of the problem and not part of the solution.
Yes.
Then get out of my way because the train is coming.
Prachtig.
Die wêreld is net reg as ons saam staan.
Prachtig. Mooi.
En dit kan dalk baie hard wees. And people are going to say I'm being very hard, but you know what? Life is not for sissies.
Woo! Woo!
Life is not fair. And it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how hard you get up. Yes, I've been knocked down. And if you look at me with my blonde hair and blue eyes, en ek gaan dit reg uit blondheid vir jou sê, dan sien julle 'n wit man hier so voor staan. Ek is nie wit nie. Ek is so klewend soos die res van julle. Ek ken waarvan ek kom. Stop looking at the color of my skin. Stop looking at the color of my hair. I am a human being first. And when I serve all mankind. But we cannot, again, do it on our own. No man is an island. But you know what? This island will stay on its own as long as it takes for the ships to arrive to make it a continent. And that is my message today. Ladies and gentlemen, gender-based violence, 16 days of activism. I say, no way. Let's make it a lifetime mission to change society. Every household, every family, every father, every child, every mother, one thing you do, spend quality time with your children. Teach them what parenthood is. Because in order to have responsible adults, we need to have responsible parents. And children take after their parents. And if you're not there for them, believe me, the gangsters and the drug lords and the criminals will take your place in the blink of an eye. Don't give them that gap. Because that loving child can become a monster. And the saying goes, prevention is far greater and far easier than cure. Because once the person has turned that corner, it's too late. And finally, I'm going to say this. One of the things I've learned in life, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and you can prove me wrong, but every decision you make, affects people around you, irrespective of where they are. In fact, the decision you make today influences people you have never met. Because if your child decides to leave school early, what happens? He becomes a dropout. The dropout becomes somebody who relies on everybody else and eventually stands on the corner begging. You say it's his choice, but it's my consequences. I need to look at that face every single day, and I need to feel that I can help him. But it was his decision. When somebody offers you alcohol, it is your decision whether you're going to take it or not. And I'm going to tell you now, anybody that tells you that they cannot does not exist in my vocabulary. 44 years I smoked. I gave it up in one morning. It was this decision I made. 44 years of smoking. And I thought to myself, I'd never be able to give up. But the one morning I woke up and a mind change in me. And the doctor said to me, yeah, you won't change. But life only changes when the need for change exceeds the want for change. Because we all want things. Maar mense, as ons dit nodig het, nee, dan maak ons 'n plan. And it was through the need for change I gave up. One morning I smoked 3 cigarettes and I said, that's it, finished. And I've never looked back. I'm 58 years old this year and I've never had the urge to become drunk every day of my life. But there's a story behind that as well. So anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity. I think I've given enough of a service this afternoon. But I am prepared to talk to people. And you know what? Last month it was Mental Health Month. Again, it's not a month, it's a lifestyle. And I'm going to say to you today exactly what the previous speaker said. If somebody wants to talk, give them your ears. It costs you nothing. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, if the demons inside your head become unbearable, reach out to somebody. And I'm going to say my office is open. My number is available. When life gets too difficult and starts pushing you too hard, I will avail myself. Because if each of us does that, we have 100 people here which can make the difference to 1,000 people's lives. So I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much to the guest speakers, to the Department of Community and Social Development. The amount of effort that goes into this every year is enormous. But it would never be a success unless you, the public, participated. So from my side, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And please, 16 days, start today. But the rest of your lives are more important than that. Thank you very much.